Wakanda forever!
Black Panther.
Killmonger.
You outsider.
I want the throne!
You can't have the throne.
I want the throne!
You can't have the throne.
I got the throne now.
Oh, snap, son. But I'm the king!
The king.
What away. Okay, so obviously, we just came back from watching Black Panther. IMAX for me. Where'd you watch that?
I watched it at regular AMC.
IMAX for me. It was so dope. Okay? I'm just gonna be clear with everybody. The hype level for this was way off the charts for me.
The hype level for me is like in space somewhere.
Off the charts.
It's not even.
Thanks.
Look at the moon. That's what the hype level is.
Thanks to the power of social media, we've confirmed that he has been talking about this for quite some time. And every time he said something, I was in that comment thread. Me alone. So anyone else trying to say, oh, I was so hyped for this? Lies. Y'all didn't even know who Black Panther was.
My social media post goes back to 2014.
That's right.
It's
on the confirmation
18.
of the film, we actually have an older one from 2012.
Yes.
Where we were talking about how they said they were thinking about doing a film.
And we were hyped then.
But I digress. Onward
Hype.
to the review.
Review time.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, so number one, what does this movie do well?
Everything.
Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say all Marvel films do a decent job at storytelling.
Yeah.
I felt that this did a very good job at storytelling. Not only that, this actually tackled some social and kind of political issues.
Yes, it did.
More towards the black folks, of course. Injustice.
Yes.
And just as a people together, it was done really well.
Yeah, it was.
And they don't pull any punches either.
They don't.
Straightforward with it.
They put it in your face like, hey, this is what's going on. So realize what's going on.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that once we get to the spoiler part. So aside from the story working really well, all Marvel films suffer just a little bit from supposedly weak villains, what I've heard.
The villain problem.
I don't 100% agree with that. However, what do you think about this villain?
The villain was awesome. Like, it's just a complex villain. I mean, they say the villain problem Marvel has it because they're not really complex. They're normally just one-dimensional.
They're not hashed out.
Yeah, like, I want to do this. This is my goal, period. This is who I am. And then this one kind of is more complex of, like, what's happened to him and how he's been shaped by the world and everything else.
I think prior to this, the best villain they had going, even though it might not have been that strong, Loki. He's reoccurring and he's had time to grow. Now Ulysses Claw in this film actually, without giving anything away, in the film actually does a very good job as a villain, I think, too.
Yes.
Kind of seems a little bit hyped up on himself.
Yeah.
Definitely feeling himself in this film.
Check out for his mixtape.
Right. Man. So I don't think this one suffers from the villain problem. Like Ian is saying, that definitely multi-dimensional. They actually take some time to build him up and make you kind of understand from his point of view, where you at moments you kind of like, does he have a point?
Is he right?
Maybe he does. I don't know. So I don't think this one suffers from that. Number 3, do you feel that every actor in their role did the role justice?
Yeah, I didn't feel like a weak link was anywhere in there where I was like, oh, they're kind of not up to par. I think everyone got fit in the right roles. Everyone basically delivered every scene. I didn't see someone going, okay, they kind of didn't fit that role. Everyone kind of got the roles they were in right. And I think that's more of the casting and then just the storytelling for the actual movie itself that made everyone fit.
Definitely. Yeah, I have to agree on that. I didn't see anyone that was out of place.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker did a very good job in his role. It wasn't a huge role, but it was actually very critical to the film. Again, like I said, I can't wait to talk about spoilers. But every role in this film was important. You actually, for once, you actually kind of care about each of these characters that they roll out.
Yes, you care about every character, including the villain.
Including the villain. There are a few like tribe chiefs that maybe you don't care too much about.
Well, they don't really have much screen time,
but that's for a reason, which again we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Aside from them, though, very good job overall. Now, would you say, moving on to our next point here, are there any moments where you would consider there was actual like downtime, like, man, I wish they would blah 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 blah?
Oh, no. And normally I'm going through movies like, hey, okay, this scene you can speed this up a little bit, or this right here, this is really needed. I think for the most part, when you see every scene, they at least gave a purpose for all the scenes they gave you. Like, you're doing this, there's a reason behind this. There's a reason behind this. So everything you see is there's a reason behind each scene, and that's what makes it go, I don't feel like you need to speed this long. It's almost like, can you drag this out a little longer? Can you make this scene longer? As opposed to, we're normally going, can you speed this up? I understand what you're doing now. Let's go. But it's not doing that. You're now going, okay, cool. I need more. Like, let's go. I need more.
Yeah, I found myself kind of watching the scenes, thinking, oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. Nope. Oh, wait, no, hurt. Okay, it's gonna slow down right here. Oh, no. Oh, wait, this part's actually very crucial. What's happening here? You like some of the moments you think are gonna be slow, they start to divulge information of the scene, and then you're like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
And other people in my theater, I think you said in your theater as well, when the movie was over, a lot of people were like, man, I want more of this universe I just got introduced into. Like, I wanted more scenes. I want more. So I haven't left a Marvel film ever where I've heard someone say that before.
I want more.
Except for maybe like, I don't know, something that clearly you knew was going to be a sequel. Like, I think at the end of Thor Ragnarok, I think people wanted more because of that big old shit that shows up at the end. But not necessarily more of that story.
Yeah, with the story. It's almost like, I want more because of what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
This is more like, I just want more
of this. Like, I want more of what I just saw. I want to know more about Wakanda. I want to know more about these characters. Very likely they're going to get, the green light for part 2.
They already have. Sure. I think they might say multiple films, so that works out.
Yeah, really good. I know a lot of other critics, people have hyped the soundtrack in this as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
From all aspects, not only with modern music, but kind of the tribal music they were playing throughout was really good as well. I liked how Shuri, like his sister, was bumping like the tribal music in the background the whole time in her lab. I also like, moving on to another category on this one. This is the first Marvel Universe film where they actually hash out an entire world on Earth that no one has actually seen. Like, yes, they did outer space with Guardians of the Galaxy. We get that. People have done space before. But this is the first time they've hashed out an actual planet. Well, not a planet, but a city, a country on Earth this well, I think.
Yes. There's like this, no one's been here, it's untouched. And then the fact it's untouched, how awesome it looks. And how like interactive and how all the technology blends into what they're doing and what they're using. And everything kind of has a purpose. Even though it looks cool, there's a purpose for everything they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of, brings the world out even more. Like, but they still keep their roots of what they're from and what they're doing.
They, like how he says, they weave the vibranium into their clothes, into the building structures. They use it in their technology, help them advance. And Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's original writings were that everyone in Wakanda is a genius, basically.
Yeah.
Not just one or two super smart people. Everyone was genius level, pretty much, based off of the vibranium that helped them basically elevate. So I thought that was done pretty well. Everyone seemed very, very intelligent. Yeah. There were no characters played off as like being ignorant.
Yeah.
Even like the strong brute type character from, I forget what that tribe was. Yeah. Basically like the gorilla tribe type of thing. Yeah. Even he was rather intelligent.
Yes.
And he has some pretty funny scenes. like I said, we'll get into that in spoilers. So, without going too much further, before we get into spoiler parts,
Close.
what would you rate this film?
Out of 5?
Really?
Yes, it's 5.
Okay.
It's a 5.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and steal a line from Dave Chappelle. The movie was so good. Wish I had 2 hands to give it 2 5s.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this film. Definitely a 5.
Yes.
5-star for sure. If you're not doing anything, even if you are doing anything,
Watch this movie.
You should go watch this. Big culture awareness for, you know, it's Black History Month.
Go see it.
Perfect timing.
Go see it.
You know,
Black
people,
superhero.
you know how people talk about like stay woke?
Stay woke, though.
Which, by the way, most of you who say that, you're not actually woke, especially if you're just now saying it. But after watching this film, if you somehow still don't have a light bulb go on somewhere, somehow,
It's gonna wake you up a little.
it's gonna wake you up a little bit.
And if you're paying attention.
And maybe some people in the theater next to you might get a little uncomfortable. That's the type of stuff that they kind of dole out in this film.
Yes, a couple little jabs they throw out there. Here
Oh
and
yeah,
there.
definitely. So definitely go check it out this weekend. And now,
What time it is?
it's spoiler time. It's spoiler time. It's spoiler time. It's spoiler time. It's spoilers. Spoiler time. It's spoiler time. It's spoiler time. It's
In your
spoilers.
face. All in your face.
Bow.
Wakanda forever.
Okay, spoilers.
Old school.
Damn.
Dude, this movie is just wow.
Okay, so number one, right off the bat, biggest spoiler. Ulysses Claw is straight like a modern day. I don't even know what to call him really, but he's like his energy level in this film
Yes.
is off the chain throughout.
Just everything he's doing. It's like he enjoys
Everything.
being a vibranium smuggler.
Like to the fullest.
Like, he enjoys everything
I
about
am a
it.
bad guy. I'm gonna smuggle stuff, and you're not gonna stop me.
Yeah. So bold that he basically trades vibranium with America.
Yes.
Like, I stole this. You know it's illegal, and I'm still gonna sell it to you.
Because
And
I
you
know everyone wants it, and you're gonna buy it
You're gonna buy it because where else you gonna get it?
because no one else got it.
So no one else got it.
Now, the biggest thing in this, they revealed to us right off the bat that the whole reason why he was even able to steal vibranium is T'Challa's dad's brother,
So
his
his
uncle, told Ulysses Claw how to get into Wakanda to steal it. Ain't that about you know what?
Yes.
Talk about family betrayal.
And he's was like 500 pounds or something like that.
And Ulysses Claw actually goes on to say that is but a fraction, a mere like peanuts compared to the amount of vibranium. They haven't even tapped into it, and
Yes.
they've been mining it for thousands of years, and they barely even what he stole was barely anything. So Ulysses Claw gets got by Eric Killmonger, which was kind of interesting because he technically didn't need to kill him,
Well, I mean, they go back into what the whole thing with Claw is, you know,
but
how he's like Wakanda enemy number 1.
it was his super easy in, right?
Yes.
So Eric Killmonger's character is basically T'Challa's uncle's son.
Yes.
Basically his cousin, right?
Yes.
And he's like, hey, if my dad was your dad's brother, that means I'm royal blood.
Yes.
I want this throne.
The throne.
But how
You
do
can
I...
have a throne. I can have a throne.
Exactly, but he's trying to think, well, how do I get back in?
Yeah.
What's my... Oh,
What's my end to a country I've never
this
been
guy...
before?
Not only that, but he works for the CIA.
Yes.
So they don't actually explain this. So I was trying to figure out, I'm like, was he working with him as part of the covert op?
No, so I don't think he was even working with them. I just think he was in the CIA originally.
And the only reason why I say this is because when they go to do the trade, the deal,
Yeah.
he's not there.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. Yeah, exactly.
Mysteriously.
And then when he shoots him, he's like, "Oh, that's one of ours."
See?
And they shows him. They shows him.
That's
He's
why
like,
I'm
"That's
like,
one of ours."
oh snaps. Was he working with him in the beginning at first.
I think he's
and
working
then he pulled
with
like a double
I
cross.
think he used
You know what
the
I mean?
CIA to get to
Claw. And then to get what he wanted to get himself into Wakanda.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, ooh.
But I think he also used the CIA to train.
Tricky. Oh, heck yeah,
yeah, he did. So he used it to become a killer and just a really efficient.
Which was crazy what he says to dude when he goes to fight T'Challa, right? He goes,
well,
T'Challa's like, we don't have to do this. We can find another way. And he's like, are you kidding me? He's like, I've been training my whole life for this. He's like, every moment. You know, he goes into his little speech, so to speak, with the he's like, just to kill you. And I was like,
well, the best part where he tells Claw, I was like, he's like, how you get in? There's all these little bumps right here are for every like kill. And then when he takes his shirt off, it's just like all over. Like,
yeah, and he said he's basically been killing his way to prepare for this moment so he could finally kill T'Challa, basically, and enact revenge for his father. Crazy pants.
She said he's coming to take the throne.
Which, by the way,
means necessary.
Obvious, another huge spoiler alert. T'Chaka's dad, or T'Chaka, basically his dad, is the one that killed his own brother because he betrayed them. Like I said, he sold everyone out, and for the vibranium. But he was basically gonna start a revolution outside of Wakanda, using Wakanda technology with the vibranium that he helped Claw steal.
Yeah, because he saw what was going on with black people, or just in the world, and injustice and what's going on, and was like,
black people.
How can we just be around in this world and let all this injustice go? But we're safe and comfortable in Wakanda, and like that needs to change. And that's what he wanted to do. He was like, oh, I want to change.
And the fact that Wakanda sends out spies to every major nation
and watches them.
I was like, they're like sleeper cells, or what? How does that work?
I think part of it they're like sleeper cells to make sure no one ever hears about Wakanda.
Yeah, like to cover the tracks.
So like basically, if anybody gets close to anything that might be Wakanda, you didn't hear nothing about Wakanda.
Yeah, or like that's not Wakanda. That's from
just to basically keep up the appearance of it's a third world country right there,
and they don't have a lot.
They're just like farmers
to offer.
And things.
Yeah, you know, very 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 small on the scale of world dominance. Right, they're just kind of there.
Yeah, they're not the smartest and most advanced civilization on the world. No.
Yeah. Exactly. they have minor farming, like he said, and maybe a little bit of produce or something like that. So another major spoiler. Bum 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 bum. They go and talk about the Panther God and in the Tiger realm where he kind of can see his ancestors.
Yes,
that was dope.
Yes, when he's sitting there and all the Panthers are on the tree, and then one just comes off and it becomes like his dad, and they have like this nice little conversation about, you know, him being ready to be king and him ready to take over.
And what kind of king he wants to be.
And he's like, you're a good man, and it's going to be hard to be king and be a good man.
Exactly.
So, it was pretty good and pretty deep on most of what.
Which was like a setup, right? His dad was basically trying to let him know, like, hey, you can't be a good man because at some point in time, you're going to have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And that choice is going to be something that will take you away from your standing as a good man, basically, right?
That you're gonna have to make a hard decision about like what's right for you or what's right for Wakanda.
Right. So he was kind of alluding to the fact that he might have done such a thing, which we find out he did.
Yeah.
So, and then the other big spoiler.
What are those?
Ah, the comedy in this movie, though. The comedy in this movie was great. The usage of technology was great.
Yes.
His sister does. We see the gauntlets. They go into specific things. She makes a comment how like Everett Ross gets shot in the back. He actually gets the bullet gets lodged in his lower lumbar spine, and they're bringing him in, and she goes, "Oh, you brought me another Brooke White boy." Brooke White. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, clearly talking about. Bucky Barnes, right, from Civil War. Right. Obviously, Cap leaves him there with them to fix up, basically. So I know some people were wondering, like, where's Captain America? Where's Bucky Barnes in this? Weren't they just there at the end of Civil War? Yes, they were. However, Cap has moved on because he's trying to still build a case against what was going on with S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's trying to make sure that basically everyone's safe. And they're trying to keep Bucky Barnes away from fighting and everything else until they can figure out how to deprogram him so he doesn't go nutso and kill people again. So that's why they're not in Wakanda technically at the point. Even though Bucky technically is, he's kind of on ice, if you will.
Or he's in a secret location.
Exactly. Which makes me wonder. I think he's in a village because at the very end of this movie, you see Bucky Barnes in a hut. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's in probably one of the villages in Wakanda, and it's just they're there basically looking after him and just keeping him away from anything that might be happening.
Yep.
Until Infinity War.
Ba-rum-bum-bum, which is only 3 months away.
Yes.
A little bit less, maybe. And then the other really cool thing I thought as well was the explaining of the heart-shaped herb. I like how in the very beginning of the film they use like the vibranium sand or whatever that was.
Yes.
I think it was vibranium sand. And they show like how the meteor came down.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really cool.
And I have the heart-shaped herb. It gives them their Panther power. Panther
power! Which actually in the comic is interesting because in one of the versions of the comic, Killmonger takes the heart-shaped herb, and it actually, since he's not the official bloodline and doesn't have the blessing of the Panther God, it does give him the enhanced strength and everything else like T'Challa, but negative side effects, he actually ends up drifting into a coma.
Well, there you go. Coma power.
Right. So, so that was interesting that in this film they decided to go the route of where, since he was part of the royal blood, they actually allowed the heart-shaped herb.
And then he beats T'Challa in combat.
Which makes sense because he was trained special forces from the jump. However,
he didn't
just like Batman is trained in multiple martial arts, supposedly T'Challa has also been trained in multiple martial arts, including Iron Fist Kung Lung style.
Yes.
He supposedly in the comic there's a mention that he actually has been to Kung Lung and trained with the monks. But you didn't know that.
I did not know that. But
however,
he's supposed to have like all the experiences from other Panthers too, though, right?
Exactly.
So
now the other like downside. What I don't know if I would call that a downside though, because I get you know what. That might be, he might be able to call on that power when he has the heart-shaped herbs ability. Because remember they give him that drink to start off with and he like kind of gets depowered. So that might be why he can't do that, right? That would make sense, right? That's a clear tie-in as to why he couldn't do it. So anything else you want to add on this one, Ian? We probably could talk about Black Panther for the rest of the evening. I know I'm going to go watch it again tomorrow. So.
I'm watching it again tomorrow. And probably Sunday and Saturday.
Follow-up review, maybe?
And all kinds of days. Just, if you haven't seen it, go see it a bunch of times. I mean, there's so much, you could talk about, like, I mean, even the Royal Guards, which we even talk about how...
The adored ones?
Yes, and how awesome they are, and how they fight, and look amazing. And it's just amazing.
Man, they put the battle scenes from 300 to shame, the way they fight in unison?
Yes.
Woo!
And then use the technology with the shield and everything else. It's just...
It's awesome.
The rhinos, Panther with his suit, and using kinetic energy and all that. It's just awesome. I mean, there's so much to just go into detail. I mean, we could be going here for, hours and going over each little bit of detail.
Maybe tomorrow we will go over, or we'll put up a video on just the technology used in this.
Ooh.
We could do that.
Just the tech.
If you guys want us to do one on just technology based from what we saw in the movie and you're interested, let us know in the comments and we'll go ahead and put that up. We'll probably even do it if we don't see your comments. But just let us know if you do want to see something like that. Let us know. Interact. We want to help drive the channel to what you guys want to see as well.
Yes.
Not only just what we watch, because if we can save you a couple bucks on a weekend and not see a terrible movie, or help you spend your money the way you want to and watch an awesome film, that's what we're here to do. So, as usual, like, comment.
Oh, wait.
What?
We didn't get to part of how you like the movie, the way it ended.
Oh, the ending of the film. I liked it.
Liked it?
I liked it a lot, actually.
Okay. I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed the fight, the final whole thing And there's the thing with Killmonger and how you actually feel about Killmonger, because they basically admitted to not more geared toward because he didn't grow up in Wakanda.
Oakland.
So he grew up in Oakland. So I mean, he basically has experience of inner city black youth. That's his experience. And he sees how the world treats black people.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like, well, Wakanda has the resources to basically put black people in power. And part of me goes, well, that's not really villainy. It's just... Now, the way he wants to go about it, killing everybody, that might be a problem and an issue.
Yeah, what does he say? I think he said something like, everyone who doesn't want to stand with us, we have the power to make them bow to us. And I was like... And then they show a spear, what looks like a normal little spear. He says has the ability to shoot off a blast to drop a tank.
Yeah. So the little spear that basically is enough.
And then he goes, oh, there's thousands of them that they just loaded up. Yeah. I was like, just think of that. A spear that can drop a tank.
And
who's stopping that?
Yeah, and that's what he's saying. Like, if Wakanda actually goes out into the world and says, hey, these black people are people. Stop that. There's no one that's going to stop them. And that's what the guy was saying, too, that, hey, if we actually want to make a way in the world and take over, the world is slowly catching up to us, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
So this is our chance now. If we want to kind of just control the world, we can. There's no one out there that's going to stop us from doing it.
Let's step out now, right?
Yeah.
People like Tony Stark, right? Once he starts introducing more of his technology to the world, or other scientists in the Marvel universe, once that stuff starts to get more far spread out, they'll close the gap, as he was saying, right? So his deduction was like, hey, we should just jump out ahead and let's get on board with Killmonger and let's do this, let's rule. And then they were like, oh, well, if they do, Wakanda has the resources, means to rule everyone better than how they're currently governing themselves. So you kind of like,
It's like you could like that's why he's a complex villain, because part of it goes from, okay, my life experience is the rest of the world doesn't treat black people equally, and it's
or themselves for that matter,
or themselves as equals, or even just cordially and like a human being.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I have a chance to now change this and change the way black people are in terms of where they're at in the world and they're standing in the world. And that's his whole thing. Like, hey, I've grown up in inner city and I see how we're basically people are getting thrown away. And we have we have the resources to stop that.
Yep.
So it's not really a villain. He's just like, I'm fed up, and I want them to basically have a revolution. And he said, they said it in America, they have a revolution, but they don't have the means to really affect the change.
Yep.
And he's like, Wakanda does. So why are you guys not using it and helping people?
He says for the first time, he's like, black people will actually have the means and resources to rise up.
Yes.
Right? And obviously some people will probably sit there and hear that and listen to that and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said such a thing. However, a lot of cultures that have been oppressed year after year, century after century, that's a legitimate thing. Those cultures don't have the means to stop people who were invading them, who were imprisoning them. So from his aspect, it's not that difficult to kind of say, he's got a point, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's like even how the Wakandans see the white guy that comes in. He's like, hey, civilization. Like the way he comes in and he's like, yeah, you guys come in and take people's resources. Like, that's what you guys do. Yep. And that's why they don't want to open their borders to people, because all you guys are come in and take our resources and take what we do and then just use it. It's to your own benefit and own gains and not really help the world. And that's the reason why they've closed themselves off.
Yep.
Because they don't want to basically see what's happening to the rest of the world. Like, yo, you guys just kill everyone else's resources and take whatever you feel like is yours.
Mm. Yeah, it was a good message from that standpoint. Yeah. Definitely not a standpoint the film had to take. But actually, I take that back. I think that is a standpoint they had to take. It wasn't even an option, because the literature that it's all based off of in the comics, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby actually touch on a lot of that stuff, even throughout there, right? It was a good read back then. It wasn't a common thing to see a super genius black culture, right? And they went outside the norm. And I'm so glad that they did. I'm super thankful to Stan Lee for doing something like that.
And I feel like originally that's what they originally built Wakanda in their world in Marvel Universe of comics. It's almost like, hey, this is what Africa would probably be like if white people would take all the resources.
Yes, exactly.
This is what it would be like if they didn't come in and take all the diamonds and the gold and whatever and the ivory and the trade and whatever was here.
And the other precious minerals.
And other precious minerals that are actually in this continent, and then just take them out to Europe.
The birthplace of everybody.
Yeah. And take them out to Europe or wherever else and ship them off to America and take a bunch of black people in boats overseas. And that's kind of what Killmonger said at the end.
Oh,
I'm more like someone that jumped off the boat than to go basically be in bondage.
Yep. Exactly. So it's definitely a powerful film if you just sit back and actually let all of what is said in there kind of sink in. Do you want to add anything else?
No, because I can keep talking about this for like an
hour and a half.
Like, there's so much stuff that is just in this movie that it's almost good to just go out there and watch it, form your opinion on how you actually feel about this movie, and then.
I definitely say watch it though. Even if you're not a big Marvel fan in general, I would still say watch it because what they accomplished in this one with the storytelling, the introduction of an entire country in this one. Yes, we've seen stuff like what was that other one in Avengers?
Sokovia.
Sokovia, right? Those are like that's obviously made up as well, but this is nothing like that. Yes. Nothing on that scale. This is way above that. This is huge, monumental. They did a great job with the scale. Shouts out to all the artists and the background people, the costumes, everything was great. Did a really, really good job on all that stuff.
And even the end of when they talk about changing, and actually like went out and bought the centers.
Yes.
The centers for the inner city, and he's like buying these buildings.
He talked about bringing change about as a king, and that he could do different things, and the fact that he actually went out and was like, oh well, we're gonna start a Wakanda outreach program, and
this building is mine.
And he's like, my girl is gonna be the one because that's her. She said that she felt that was her calling. She's gonna be the one to head that. His sister was gonna be responsible for the information and science trade of technology between everybody pretty much and the Wakanda technology, and she was excited about that. She's like, oh man, I can't wait. Which is probably how they're gonna show Tony Stark ends up getting the bleeding edge suit that I think he uses in the Infinity War. I think that's what it's gonna be called. It's one that he uses in the comic that actually it's like nanobots that actually come out of his skin. I don't know if he'll use that. They might do something where they integrate it where it comes out of his glasses
or something, because this one
or his
T'Challa has it from his necklace.
Yeah.
So it might be like Tony Stark's belt or something like that.
That
he always has on, or shoes or something that he always has on where it could just appear.
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Yes.
So like we were saying before, like, comment, and subscribe.
All of it though.
All of it.
Don't forget to
share it out
to everybody.
Share it out.
Everybody.
Share
it. Them people over there that you know, share it to them too.
Exactly.
Do it.
And we'll see you guys on the
next time.
AI
review.
Panther
Power.
Peace.